Hi, my name is Seth Fisher, also known as Crutch Rosé, and in today's episode of Rosé Rants and Reviews, we will be tackling Dragon Ball's opening saga.
There we go.
No, for real.
The only thing that you can say is welcome to Rosé Rants and Reviews.
Hi, my name is Seth Fisher, also known as Crutch Rosé, and welcome to episode 2 of Rosé Rants and Reviews. Now, last week, in the first episode, we covered the pilot and what Crutch Rosé and what Rosé Rants and Reviews is. The easiest way that I can explain it is that it's a communication and media podcast. Now, if you would like more information on that, I urge you to go back to episode 1 and watch that, where I go much more in depth as to what we're going to be covering over the duration of Rosé Rants and Reviews. But as for this week, I want to dive straight into what we have to cover over the next, from what I estimate, is going to be about 130 episodes. So, let's move right into it. We're going to be moving into covering Dragon Ball. Now, I'm going to be covering all of the Dragon Ball series, but we are starting with Dragon Ball and the first opening saga. So, let's go. The opening saga is strange. It's a very, very unique and old-fashioned take on Journey to the West, a Chinese mythological story. And it's very, very interesting in how it does this. Goku is obviously Sun Wukong, and it is very, very well done. Obviously, this gets lost as time goes on, and we really start to stray from the Journey to the West inspiration, but I would like to say that I very much enjoy early Dragon Ball's inspiration from Journey to the West. There's some things with the opening saga that I'm not the most fond of, and I find them to be dated and not the most enjoyable, and in fact, I've always found them strange. You know I'm talking about Master Roshi. What the fuck is Master Roshi's problem? I get his character, but this character archetype has always bothered me in not just anime, but anything. What the fuck? Anyway. Moving on, let's cover the actual opening saga in general. So Goku's characterization in the opening saga is perfect. He is a naive, confused hick. His connection to Grandpa Gohan is great. His meeting with Bulma and his protection and trusting of her. His building of relationships with Yamcha. Oolong and Puar. It is great. And Master Roshi, Master Roshi is necessary. So I don't hate Master Roshi. I'm just like, some of his hijinks early on get me a little bit. Anyway, I find the characterization of every character early on to be perfect. It is perfect. I just find it to be strange. This mystical adventure feeling of the opening saga is only present here. The hunt for the Dragon Balls and everything from the opening chapter / opening episode until the end of the Pilaf saga is just so strange and interesting, and you can really feel that Dragon Ball was trying to figure out what exactly it was going to be, and Toriyama was just trying to come up with something interesting and new and unique while borrowing from Journey to the West. And I am so grateful that that is the path that he chose to take, because he really has a lot of character archetypes that he can follow, and also a lot of storylines that he comes up with later, Toriyama, that wouldn't have had grounds to be built off of without the original Journey to the West plot. Things like Goku being a Saiyan later on, or Kami, all of these different character archetypes that and plot points that wouldn't have necessarily been so easy to build off of if it hadn't started off as a Journey to the West story. So it's a very, very fun and interesting and really just so interesting. It's so interesting how Journey to the West is the basis for what Dragon Ball originally started when you look at what it becomes later on. But the opening saga is great. It's just strange. It is so different than everything else in Dragon Ball. And it's probably one of the best sagas in the entire series. It's just strange. The characterization is on point. The humor is a little bit iffy, but there's some fourth wall breaks. There is such creative work that is being done with the characters, the paneling, and so much more. I just find personally that I don't like some of the dated humor. And I know that's a hot take from somebody, but it's also not. A lot of people seem to have a little bit of difficulty watching the original Dragon Ball due to some of the dated humor, particularly Master Roshi. And I do agree that it's problematic, and anytime that I tell somebody about Dragon Ball, I have to give them the Master Roshi warning, you know? And if you haven't seen Dragon Ball, you probably haven't seen anime in general, so it's going to be quite jarring if you watch and then all of a sudden Master Roshi is being a creepy fucking pervert, right? So that's the one thing. That's the only gripe that I have with early Dragon Ball. The opening saga of Dragon Ball is Master Roshi fucking being a creepazoid, fucking Yamcha being a creepazoid, and Bulma being a creepazoid. Like, everyone was just kind of horny in that opening saga, and I'm not the most fond of it. That's my only gripe, if I'm being entirely honest. The opening saga is great. The action is great. The characterization is great. Everything else is pretty good. The opening saga is strange, though.